right, and welcome to Week 6 of Walk the Plank, the Perry Athletic Department podcast that delves into a little bit of our background, some of what our teams are doing, both at the middle school and high school level. And today we're going to be joined by various guests here, but I'm joined first by my co-host, as always, Mr. Gene Winters. Welcome, Gene.
Oh, thank you for having me again. It's this nice part of the season where some teams are wrapping up, some are midway through, and some are just starting to get that. Get their feel of what they wanted to accomplish this year.
Yeah, and Week 6 of the podcast, some of those sports, tennis and golf specifically, we'll update you on golf here in a little bit, but I'm also joined to my right by our head tennis coach here at Perry High School, Mr. Rob Walker. Coach Walker, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
All right, let's talk. We'll go right into some girls tennis here. I know, as I mentioned, that season for some of those golf and tennis move along pretty quick. We start August 1, and really by the end of September, we're wrapping things up. So last weekend, we hosted the Chagrin Valley Conference tennis tournament here at Perry High School and had some pretty good results.
We swept off 5 divisions. Audrey Austin at first singles. Doubles, Haley Green and Kaylee Erickson came back from a nice deficit down and came back and took first doubles along with Peyton Winters and Quincy Ryan, also down in their first match, 3-0, and came fighting back. Kira Hevelin at third singles, lost first set in the championship and came roaring back to win the next 2 pretty easily by the score. And along with Maddie and Falvey, third time straight that she beat a good girl, Evie from Madison.
Excellent. And that, we went undefeated in the regular season in CVC play, so I think we probably went into it, expecting some of those results, but a little adversity to start the day off for sure.
We were down in both doubles. Kira lost first set at third singles, but they came back and all 7 girls won their championships for the school.
And
right.
You mentioned Madeline Falvey, one of your 2 seniors. Now, you always hear about natural athletes, and I think she fits that bill. Someone that hasn't played tennis since middle school to really just come in and take that second singles for you.
Yeah, she's kind of surpassed where I thought she'd be at this part of the season. She's really shows her athleticism. She's a great teammate, a leader by example. She's been a big part of the success we've had.
And then our other senior, Audrey Austin, she was one of our athletes of the week, so we kicked the year off with Audrey here in that realm. What has she meant to this program in her 4 years? She was a state qualifier as a doubles, one of the doubles players, and then a 2-time district qualifier in singles, hoping to do the same thing again this year.
She's been a huge part. I still don't believe in 4 years that we've lost, that we've won a match, or I'm sorry, that we've won a match that she hasn't put a victory up for us. And she has a pretty good chance real good chance to get the districts again. Next Tuesday we'll find out. Tournament starts on Tuesday, so we'll hopefully get her down to the state tournament in singles. She just missed it last year, losing in a 3-setter in the first round. But if she would have won that, she probably would have won the second match and qualified last year.
She was right on that border.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about, it used to be that you go to your sectional sort of right in your backyard, and now you get to pick and choose where you go to the sectional. So we're actually heading to Boardman High School for singles and Poland, I believe, for doubles. Mm-hmm. So how does that work, and what has that change been like for you as a coach?
It's a little bit more stressful, and we have to actually really think a little bit more than just who we're going to play against. And just going where they tell us we're going to go. Now the top 16 teams get to pick, and you have to put in all your scores from the year, and all the coaches vote. Luckily, we got ranked, I think, 9th, so we got to choose. If we didn't get ranked in the top 16, we would have been most likely stuck at Hawken, which typically is a stronger sectional.
And for you in that picking and choosing, obviously you know what teams are good in the area. Is it always the same let's say 10 teams up top, say top 5 up top, where you try to pick and choose to avoid those schools?
Typically, you have the Hathaway Browns. Orange has been tough for the last 5-6 years. Gilmore is now was the best team, or is ranked the best team in the area now. They haven't been in the past. But Hathaway, Brown, Orange, and Hawken have all been pretty much CVCA. Been most of the time they're in the top 5.
All right, and we're shooting this podcast on Tuesday, the 24th, and we get rained out today at Gilmore. We'll play, you mentioned Gilmore is one of the best teams in the area, if not the best team. We'll make up that match next Monday, and then we'll go right into sectionals on Tuesday down to down to Youngstown. Hopefully, the state's not at Columbus, but hopefully getting Audrey and some of those other girls to the district level in hopes of making that state berth. So.
That's the plan.
All right, Coach, thanks for
One
joining
last
us.
thing.
Yep.
So Audrey was here week 1. Where is the weakness in her game? Because I've watched her a little bit now, and I have no tennis expertise at all. But when she was on the pod, she said I would not be able to score against her. So now that I've watched her a bunch this year, I need to know where I need to attack.
I can't really say that she has a weakness. Ground strokes are tough. She can get to the net. Her serve's been pretty good this year.
Second serve, maybe?
Second serve, she put a lot of time in the off season. She worked pretty hard on that second serve every weekend all winter long.
Backhand? Those are two.
Backhands are dynamite.
Okay.
Stay away from that.
I know. For you. I would like to see.
I might just avoid this altogether, but
Okay.
I was hoping that there would be an easier answer.
I'd like to
and
see
then-
where this match is going to be played. I'll come watch.
Well, it would be right here, I'm sure.
Okay, good. All right.
I
let
wanna
me know
see
when
it too.
Yeah, all right.
My
everybody-
money's on Audrey.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
well,
sell
right.
tickets. Out for a set, did you say?
Well, originally it was just one point.
One
oh,
point.
Not an unforced error on her part. Me actually.
I got my money on Audrey.
Okay, yeah.
She said the same thing, and
I'm right there with you.
but okay.
We'll see.
We still have time.
We'll be the underdog.
Yeah,
We'll get
right.
it. Maybe we'll make this happen.
And don't base it just because you've watched Peyton play all year.
All right, Coach. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate the time. Best of luck next week at sectionals, and we'll update everybody next week as to what is happening with the team and with who's advancing and who's not and what's going on. Appreciate the time. Congratulations on the CVC championship. 11-6 in the regular season, and looking for some better things here in the postseason as well. Thanks again.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach. All right, Rob Walker, our head tennis coach here at Perry High School, wishing our girls best of luck next week at the sectional tournament. We'll move right on into some of our athletes of the week. We're also going to be having our middle school minute, a little new segment here. We'll be joined by Mindy Allen, the middle school athletic director, and my assistant athletic director at the high school level as well, and she'll update us on some happenings of middle school athletics. We're getting to the point in the season there where those middle school seasons are wrapping up here within the next 2 to 2 weeks. So we'll have Mindy join us and go from there.
And it's interesting to see how the varsity or the high school programs and the middle school programs, the records are almost mirroring each other,
Yeah.
where the same teams are dominating. And
Yeah.
it's been nice to see the support that the middle school players have been getting as the influx at both volleyball, soccer, and even at football. More and more fans coming out to support them.
Yeah, if you drive by Memorial Field there on Center Road, you'll see a pretty packed stadium a lot of the time. So it's same for volleyball. The gym is filled over at the middle school level. So we'll get in that with Mindy here in just a little bit. But let's call up our first athlete of the week. We'll start off on the male side. Come on up, Walter Moses. Know this guy pretty well. Actually, know both of our athletes of the week pretty darn well here for a long time growing up around these guys. Walter, welcome. Congratulations on being named our Athlete of the Week.
Thanks.
This should be some fun here today. You get your free meal deal from Dairy Queen and a Blizzard, so I'm sure you'll put that to good use. Thank you to Dairy Queen for sponsoring our Athletes of the Week. And Walter, let's just start right off with last week. Geneva, you were 20 of 23 for 320 yards, 5 touchdown passes against the Eagles in a huge game, 4-0 record for Geneva. We were at 3-1, obviously a lot of points on the line, a lot of pride on the line as well. Talk to us about the game with the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big game. You know, every year they think they're going to beat us. So they come in with that mindset and they get really amped up.
Yep.
So, I mean, and I know a lot of people from over there, so beating
You
them-
got some family ties in the Geneva area. So, little known fact, I found this out last week. Geneva has not beat us in football since 1948. All right,
That
Jay
seems
Jay
right.
Crone, thank you to Jay from the News Herald. He came up with that nugget of information. Now, we haven't played that. We went through 1949 to 1997 without playing a game, but they have not beat us since 1997 when we've started playing. It's like 21 and 0 against the Eagles. So we took care of business. Started off a little slow, got down 7-0, but then roared back to win 44-7. Had a running clock there by the end of the third quarter. So good overall performance by the Pirates and obviously by Walter. You know, only 3 incompletions on the night. And you're getting ready to set some, you know, as we're talking stats, we'll get all the stats stuff out of the way, and then we can talk about some other things. You're closing in on some records from a career standpoint as well. So not only a great night against the Geneva Eagles, but, you know, you've thrown for, you know, 5,000, almost 5,900 yards. You're about 100 or 200 yards short of that record, and 68 career touchdowns. You're 8 or 9 short there on that. Just talk about a little bit about what that means to you and that accomplishment that looks like at some point this year, knock on wood here, keep everybody healthy, that you're going to break those records.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an awesome accomplishment, but at the same time, it's not just my achievement. You know, I've had a great surrounding past 4 years I've been here, from freshman year, that line and those receivers helping me get ready for the years to come, and then the receivers I've played with now and the line I've played with now. It's kind of their record, too.
Okay, awesome.
Do you know these numbers going into the season, or is it things like this where a media member might bring it up to you, or somewhere where you find out about it? Or is it something that, you know what, at the beginning of the year, I knew I needed X amount of yards and this many touchdowns to become the all-time leader?
No, it wasn't something I necessarily knew coming in. It's always something me and Coach Yano have talked about because I was always so close with Drew when I was younger. I always looked up to him, and in the beginning of the season, me and him kind of talked about how far off I was and beating his records.
And it's amazing what obviously Drew accomplished when he finally got his chance to step in and lead the program. So as you got that opportunity 4 years ago, you split your first year in and out. Where have you grown from your freshman year to where you are now?
Just being more of like a field general per se, just knowing what everybody's doing and being able to get people in the right spots and being able to command an offense better. Freshman year was just kind of going out there. I didn't want to be too vocal as the freshman trying to tell people what to do or too much stuff. So now growing into the role of being the quarterback, I've been able to communicate better with receivers and figure it out from there.
And you mentioned Drew Schiano. Those are, you know, his records that you're going after. Anybody else that you've looked up to or sort of built your game after? I know you've trained with, you know, off-site at some down in Medina with some high-level quarterbacks down there as well. Is there anybody you try to model your game after?
I wouldn't necessarily say model, but I've been able to train with some big guys. Penn State's quarterback, Drew Aller, I've got to throw him with a bunch. There's another quarterback at Penn State now I've been able to throw with. Just got to learn from a lot of great people. So, I mean, just taking bits and pieces of their games and trying to put it into mine is basically what I've done.
And to kind of piggyback off that, obviously the media day at the beginning of the year is always a nice event where all the younger kids get to come out and meet you guys as well. What does that mean to you, knowing that probably you were in that same situation 10 years ago where you got to meet a Pirate? What does that mean for you to be able to give back to the younger kids?
I love it. I think it's awesome. Last year, I volunteered in a first grade class, and honestly, those kids were probably my best friends at the time. So being able to see those kids now and just having, like, Coach Guestwich's kids, Coach Perry's kid, I'll have all them down on the sideline. I love hanging out with those kids.
And then, again, tying that back into the youth, you know, playing, I got to watch you play youth football from the time you were a little guy all the way up. But that bond that you've had with this senior class, you've got, you know, 12, 14 seniors, whatever, that you've been playing with for all of these years. Talk about that group and what a special group it's been.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. We've all been so close-knit growing up. I mean, small town USA,
Right.
you grow up with these kids. So, I mean, you play your whole youth football career with them, your whole middle school career, except for Owen. He was so old, he played older than us.
We'll not remind him of that.
Should have had that in week 2 when we had Owen on.
Yeah. All right, and then talk a little bit about your collegiate plans. If people don't know, right now you're committed to go to Toledo, and just talk about that overall process, how you ended up deciding on Toledo and sort of that next step. Obviously, we've got a lot of season left ahead of us here, and we don't want to rush that at all. But just talk about that next step for you.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like end of my sophomore year, the recruiting class started. I was able to get an offer from UConn and Akron, and then I played my junior year the best of my ability, and then after the state championship, I got a couple more, and just from there, it was just communication with coaches and seeing who truly wanted me and who wanted to give me that like family aspect of a team. So I just kind of went from there and landed on Toledo.
All right.
Obviously, Coach Candles had a fantastic career there in Toledo, and big upset a couple weeks ago when they were down south with Mississippi State, and it's a great program. I've been up there a couple of times doing some ESPN games, and he's just a fantastic person to hear from and just watch the way he gets his teams to respond.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. He reminds me a lot of Coach G's. Really smart guy, but at the same time, if he wants to, he's going to make fun of you. So,
Different personality, right? Just likes to poke at you a little bit every now and again. That's
Yeah.
good. Go ahead.
What has it been like with Coach G? Obviously, you both came in at the same time together, so he's
4 years now.
been the guy that you've been with as you've risen through the Perry ranks.
Yeah, we like to say that we're basically his children, my grade. But yeah, having him all 4 years is pretty awesome. We've obviously, since he coached quarterbacks, got to know each other really well. He would even consider me his best friend at this point, probably. But yeah, we got to grow up together through this program, and just being able to win a state championship with him last year and finish my high school career with him is going to be awesome.
Well, and when you win that ultimate, that's the goal every year, right? Every team in the state of Ohio, the goal is to win a state championship. We were able to accomplish that for the first time in school history, and we all remember what that meant to this community and to this town, and you'll always have that. You'll always be a member of the first, and the quarterback of the first ever state championship team. What did you guys talk about as you went into this year? Because, it was such a fun ride. We've sort of beat it to death, and it was beyond awesome, beyond words even, as I'm struggling to say them. But you always have it. How do you put that behind you guys as seniors, as the leaders of this team, and try to focus on this year? Because that's the same goal. You have the same goal. We're in a different division. We don't care about that. We don't control it. Whoever they tell us to play, we're going to play weeks 11 through 16. How do you guys, focus on this year after such a great accomplishment last year?
Yeah, it was definitely the mindset of it's a new season.
Yeah.
Division 4 is a lot different than Division 5.
Yeah.
Not saying we haven't been in Division 4, but
Right.
the competition gets better. Playoffs aren't going to be as smooth sailing as it was. We can run into potentially like a Glenville in the second round.
Right? Yeah, we could be hosting Glenville.
with the schedule they
week
play.
12.
So, it's just the mindset of who cares that we won last year. We moved up a division. I don't think Glenville's scared of us. I don't think Perkins is scared of us.
Right. Yep.
Like, it's a new team, it's a new division, it's a new year, and that's kind of what we have to ride with.
And as we start to look ahead real quick, since we were talking about the championship, how many times have you watched the game?
Actually, not that many.
No?
I watched it a couple times right after, but except for that, I haven't really watched it.
All right. So Lutheran West this week, what do we know about them? Obviously, they're coming off a win last week against Madison.
Yeah, it was an interesting win against Madison.
Yeah. I was a little shocked.
They have some decent athletes, but I think if we play to the best of our abilities, we should get the job done.
Well, hopefully no one's going to, take to social media like Barstool account last week. Geneva, I think, was out there with some inappropriate stuff. And even Madison week 1, we talked to Owen about that after the Madison win. Just a word of warning, I wouldn't poke you guys or make fun of you in any way, shape, or form, because you both have balled out immediately after that has happened. So hopefully Lutheran West, I haven't checked. I'm not on social media a lot, but I haven't checked their Barstool. Hopefully they keep their mouths shut. We go out there and take care of business on Friday and continue rolling along here. Walter, before you leave us, just some questions that I ask every one of our athletes of the week here, just some behind the scenes into Walter Moses, some of your favorite things. So there's no wrong answers here. Your favorite food?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. All right, any particular place that you like to get it from, or just anywhere mac and cheese?
Panera.
Panera mac and cheese. All right. Favorite movie or show?
How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. Favorite subject in school?
English.
English. All right. What do you know what you're going to major in yet?
Pre-law.
Pre-law. Okay. You'll need to be reading a lot, so that's good. Your best athletic accomplishment here in Perry?
Probably winning the state championship.
I would figure that was a softball. And place to visit anywhere in the world that you could go. Money's not an object.
Do like Bora Bora.
Okay. Very tropical and far away. All right, Walter Moses, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Best of luck the rest of the
Thank
year.
Thank you.
Walter, appreciate your time. Best of luck this week against Lutheran West and into the playoffs as we get into late October, early November. It'll be here before we know it, Gene.
Yeah, number 5 in top of the crop for the News Herald again this week. So, again, as they continue the midpoint of the season now, you got your final 5 coming up, and the OHSA computer rankings came out again this here on Tuesday.
Yep.
1-2 with Perry and Lake Catholic.
Yeah, Lake Catholic that'd be an interesting match if we need to ever see the Cougars down the road. As Walter mentioned, there's potential for Glenville to be out there. They're the 2-time defending state champs, are sitting in the 11-12 range right now, and they play a very tough schedule. So they probably, we don't know where they're going to end up. They could certainly win a couple of these games, but if they do, they'll be in the top 4 and they'll host. But if they're not, they could be in outside the top 10 and having to hit the road, come playoff time.
How much has Division 4 changed? Obviously last year was Division 5 and you jumped out, but mainly you've been a Division 4 team. How
Yeah.
much changeover has been in now that we're back into Division 4?
Yeah, a lot of familiar faces in there. Glenville, 2-time defending state champ. West Branch is the team that beat us out at Youngstown Boardman. Let's see, that would have been Walter's freshman year. So they're still around. They're undefeated at this time. Lake Catholic is always a player in there. Streetsboro is there in the top 4 right now. They're undefeated. So, those schools have been perennially in the top 8 to 10, and you'll see what happens. It'll be different each and every week. After being in D5 for 2 years, sort of adjusting and getting back and seeing some of those familiar schools that we've known for a long time will be good.
Yeah, and that's where you want to be. Get back into the groove of it, get with the teams you're familiar with, and away you go.
Yeah, and here we go. And I think that the team and the coaches have had a good attitude with it from the very beginning. Going into D4, we're the smallest D4 school in the state. We knew that when it came out. It is what it is. We're not making excuses. We're not going to hide. We're not going to whine and cry about it. It is what it is. Somebody's got to be the smallest team. Somebody's going to be the biggest team. We were one of the bigger D5 schools in the state, so now we're one of the smallest D4s. We're gonna give it our best, and I know our team's going to be prepared. They're well coached, and they're going to go out there and do what they can do. We'll see what happens. Should be fun.
And then you get Friday night with heading out to Lutheran West, so get that going. Then you get a couple home games here, which will be nice for the football fans. To get
we've
back out
actually
here.
got 5 home games left. If you count the fact that we have potential to host 2 playoff games, we've got 3 home games left, and then the 2 playoff potential games as well. So, without further ado, we're going to call up our female athlete of the week. And I've sort of been saving her for a long time. We could have had her come on up really week 1 or 2 or 3. Jordan Rowan from our girls soccer team. Come on up, Jordan. And just like Walter, known Jordan for a long time, got to see her growing up into a spectacular athlete, and specifically girls soccer, but also track as well, has been contributed on our track program. But soccer's her sport. And Jordy, congratulations on being our athlete of the week. Welcome to the program. Let's talk a little bit about, first things first, just like with Walter, some stats. We'll get these stats out of the way. All right, you scored 100 goals at the last game against South. You're only the second girls soccer player to do that in the history of our program. Shout out to Jackie Altenwig, class of 98. She scored 109. Jordan's sitting at 102. Just talk to us a little bit about what that means to you and just the accomplishment. You've done it in 3 years as well. Your sophomore year, you were hurt. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was kind of my individual goal
Yep.
for since the beginning of high school, and kind of sophomore year put a damper on that.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad I could accomplish it.
Yeah.
And I think I had a lot of supporting teammates that got me to this place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that sophomore year was gone, and so you never know. But you've been on a tear this year. I don't even know how many goals you have. I know you have 102. The career record goal is 109, so that's within sight as well. And I'm sure that's out there for you, and I'm sure it's an important thing. But I know the team is really important to you as well. That's always been your focus when we've talked. And right now we're 7-2-1, having a great year. The tie was against Conneaut. That was sort of unexpected, to say the least. But, hey, hats off to the Spartans. They came out and competed their tails off. We only got to play them for a half because of some thunder and lightning in the area. But, the two losses are to two excellent teams in Mentor and Akron Hoban. So just talk to us a little bit about what the season's been like so far.
I think it's been good. I think playing the teams like Hoban and Mentor, and we have some couple games that are coming up that are pretty hard. I think that helps us, especially in the playoffs. Just facing those tougher teams helps us get better and prepares us. So.
You had the tough non-conference schedule as you were just talking about, but how much do you use last year's controversial ending to fuel you guys for this year? Or is it, it's a new year, it stinks how that finished last year, and we, wasn't the right call, but we have to move on? Or do you use that to, hey, we want to get back there and make sure we get over that game this year?
I think we kind of use it as we can't control everything, and that kind of helps us push. We still need to focus on taking care of the game. We should have taken care of the game either way, no matter what the refs had. So, kind of use it to fuel us, but also it's out of our control now.
Last week we had Kendra Conrad on, a setter on the volleyball team, and she talked about how certain girls like the ball to come to her. Andorra Porcello leading the News Herald in assists this year. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of those have come off of goals from you. So is there a certain way that you like to get the ball on a pass, or is it just, hey, I'm going to make these girls miss once I get it, and I'm scoring once I have that open net?
Just to take my opportunities no matter way I get them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did mention I didn't know how many goals you had. Gene has them on our notes here, so I missed it. 40 goals this year, 82 points. You lead the News Herald area in both. Andorra, as he mentioned, has 15 assists. She leads the News Herald area. And again, those are stats, and our record is 7-2-1. We have some tough games coming up, though, this week. Let's talk a little bit about, so we're shooting this on a Tuesday. This pod will probably post either later tonight or tomorrow. So we'll play Geneva on Tuesday. We've got at Chardon on Thursday, and then at Berkshire on Saturday. And then throw in Padua next Monday. We've got 4 games within a week. So, and against some really good teams. Let's talk about, I guess, this week coming up and what we're looking to do.
Just kind of focus each game at a time. Kind of just make sure our bodies are recovering. Our health is the most important thing. We've got, Allie Hopkins, who should have been playing this entire season and is a very strong backbone for us. And she's out, and she's been out since the first practice.
Yeah.
So just kind of staying healthy and keeping our mindset right for we have a game after this. And, yeah.
And are you finding that with leaders in the News Herald area like you and Andorra, that people know that? I'm sure people know who you are. And do you find yourself getting, marked either extra hard or with extra players or double team, triple teamed in terms of the attention that's given to you as being our main goal scorer?
Yeah, I think I've had a couple man marks and even double marks sometimes. Kind of just have to let it be and not let it change my game and just kind of play how I know how to play.
We had Coach Stavar in, I think it was week 2 or week 3, and talking about how the game of soccer has evolved from when he started coaching 20 years ago to where it's at now. What has it been like to play under him, a guy that has so much knowledge about the game, and you've had him for the last 4 years?
Yeah, it's been great. I think him and Carino both are great coaches, and they help us every day with practice and just kind of give their knowledge to all of us.
And then for another one for me, as you start to wind down your season, senior season here, where have you improved from freshman year to where you are now?
I think definitely my mindset of being a leader has definitely improved. You know, I was a scared little freshman that wouldn't say anything till now. I'm not telling people what to do, but trying to help them out in any way they need if they're not understanding anything. And just kind of on the field, faster footwork I can see from strength and fitness class, and just more knowledge of where watching the game and stuff.
When did you start playing soccer, Jordy? How old were you? Do you even remember?
I think 4.
Age 4, okay.
Mhm.
And I should mention as well, she was homecoming queen last week. So you had an exciting couple of days there. Thursday night you score your 100th goal, and then Friday night you're homecoming queen. So that had to be a fun couple of days.
Yeah, fun, busy days.
Was that more nerve-wracking waiting for that announcement than playing soccer?
My dad did ask me that question.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't get too nervous for soccer.
Well, you mentioned your father, and obviously you're in a very competitive family. So has that helped you become the player that you are, knowing that you had very competitive brothers that have been successful as well, and obviously your dad being a staple here as a coach for so many years?
Yeah, it totally has. I've looked up to my brothers and just their collegiate competitions.
Yeah.
I've looked up to them, and just kind of that fuels me to, work hard for it and everything.
Want to keep that Rowan name going, right? And let's talk about that a little bit. Collegiately, we had Walter. He's heading to Toledo to play football. Jordan has announced and will be signing here in November to head to the University of Kansas. So congratulations on that.
Thank
you. Kansas is a Big 12. I can't keep the college conferences straight anymore. Are they still in the Big 12, Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay, so Big 12. I know they just played at West Virginia this past weekend. So how has that process for you worked, and how did that all come about? I know, not only the high school, but a lot of club activities and college coaches all over that club scene. How did your recruiting process work?
With being hurt my sophomore year, they
Mhm.
kind of, you get recruited that junior year. That's when you can talk to coaches. So I didn't play it all that year. So it was kind of a damper on that. But I think I found the right place. They made me feel wanted, and I just felt at home when I chose it.
And that's a relatively new coach coming in, so that's always a
Yeah.
good thing. I mean, I think, they're going to hopefully at least have a couple of years to establish themselves. That's what you see at the college level. A lot of these coaches leave after recruiting. We had Alan Morris, boys tennis, go to Grove City, and that coach, he literally had his first day of class on August 26th, and on August 27th, the coach announced he was leaving. So it's good. I think you're going in with somebody that is new to Kansas as well. You guys can sort of grow into the program together and establish what they're looking to do. And we're excited for you, excited to watch you at the next level. Some work to do left here yet this season, though. So we are soccer is one of the sports where the OHSA expanded the divisions. We talked Division 4, Division 5 for football with Walter. With you, we're Division 4 soccer program now. We were Division 2 in previous seasons, and so we're going to have some different schools, and I think it's set up for us to make a good run. So we're excited for what not only the next 2 weeks of the regular season are, but the postseason as well. It should be a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk real quick about our Kick for the Cure game, so
Oh, yes.
people can get that information out there. Our Kick for the Cure game will be against our rival Madison. All right, so we're going to potentially, we need to play a couple more league games, as do the Blue Streaks. But that will be for the league championship, again, potentially on Wednesday, October 9th. The girls will play at 7 p.m. The boys will play at 5 p.m. We actually host volleyball that day against Madison, and that's the Volley for the Cure. So it's all going back to 2 local women who are battling cancer as we speak, and all funds raised that night will go back to support their journey. So our Kick for the Cure, we're going to blast out an email. So once everybody sees this podcast, you'll get an email from us on Infinite Campus with how to go on and buy the gear for the soccer match. If you buy the gear, just a shirt or a hoodie, you get into the match for free. So we're hoping to pack the stands that night to cheer on our boys and our girls teams. Same for Volley for the Cure. If you buy a T-shirt, you get into that for free. And I know they're going to have 50-50 and some Chinese baskets and raffles and all kinds of stuff going on to raise money for these two courageous women. So little shout out, a little preemptive. We're a couple weeks away from that, but that's out there on the horizon as well. And it's always fun to play Madison. They got us last year, so talk a little bit about before we let you go here, Jordan. And by the way, again, you get your DQ certificate there. You can't forget that. Talk a little bit about that matchup with the Blue Streaks. I know you know some of the girls on the team and what that game will be like for us.
I think it's going to be probably our most competitive game this season. It's on our turf, not their
Right.
very crappy field. So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to that and just like kind of revenge from last year. I mean, we lost 2-1, I think.
Yeah, 2-1 last year over at Madison with the same thing, CBC
Alley.
title on the line, and they got us. And so we'll be looking for some payback this year against the Blue Streaks.
And real quick, we talked a little bit about Moses, or with Moses about this, Walter, that is, about giving back to the younger kids. I know these last 2-3 weeks you've been making your rounds with Rosalind Tharp, going up to the middle school, helping the volleyball team, helping the football, helping the soccer. What does that mean to you to be able to go back and help the younger kids in the community that look up to you?
Definitely just like the smiles on their faces when they're playing like the sport that they love. Like, I experienced that, and like I think all kids should experience that and just have fun while they're playing. So just any way they can, by either cheering or like telling them good job or anything, just to make their day.
All right, excellent, Jordy. And again, just some sort of off-the-wall questions for you. Again, no wrong answers, just like Walter, but same questions. Just get a little background information on what makes Jordan Rowan tick. So what's your favorite food?
Probably ice cream.
Ice cream. Your favorite store has to be Starbucks. I see you with Starbucks quite a bit. Okay, yeah, all right. Not wrong there. How about your favorite movie or your favorite show?
I'd say Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy is a good one. Favorite subject in school?
Math.
Math, coming from
That's the leader every
Yeah,
week.
Math is the
but
leader, and as your
Yeah,
dad is
yeah.
a former math teacher, I think that's appropriate. What's your greatest athletic accomplishment here at Perry?
I would say my 100 goals.
Yeah, heck yeah, that's a great accomplishment. And you're 7 away from the record, so we'll see where that leads you here over the next coming week. You got 4 games just in the next week alone, and we've got 7 regular season games left. So we'll keep everybody updated on that as we go. If money was no object, place to visit anywhere in the world.
Brazil. Like
Brazil.
Rio.
Okay, Rio. I think they like soccer down there, I've heard.
Yeah.
So it'd be a fun place to visit. All right, Jordan Rowan is our female athlete of the week. Jordy, congratulations.
Thank you.
for coming on and joining the show. We wish you nothing but the best of luck as you close out your career here as a Perry Pirate.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jordan. All right. Moving on. Just an exciting time. We had two great athletes. All the athletes we've had, week 6 now, we've had 12, been able to recognize 12 athletes. Again, thanks to Dairy Queen for their support of this new program that we're putting out there. And, just an exciting time of year as we're getting some sports wrapped up and really starting to hit the postseason for some other ones.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Each week you get to learn more and more about a different student athlete and what they've been through to get to where they are. And to go back to Jordan just for a minute, 27 goals in your freshman year.
Yeah.
You miss your sophomore year, and you've scored 70 goals in the last 2 seasons to get to 100. It's just amazing how that, because after you get hurt, you're probably not even thinking maybe 40 in 2 years.
Right,
But
yeah.
you have back-to-back 40-goal seasons to now reach yourself to, at some point, it might be up to 50 this year.
Right.
Even higher.
Well, and again, I think we've had, the girls have been playing at a pretty high level lately, and again, being at Division IV, just like boys soccer, I think it affords both teams, volleyball as well, to make some deeper runs than we've seen in the last couple of years. So, should be exciting postseason.
Yes. I can't wait to get them back home after these 2 road games with Chardon and Brookshire coming up.
Yep, and the boys soccer team will host Geneva Tuesday night. Depending when you're hearing this podcast, but Geneva, that is a switch. So Geneva's coming in here at 5 p.m. to play the boys match. The girls is followed at 7. And then they're heading to VASJ on Saturday. Jefferson on Thursday, VASJ on Saturday. So again, busy week for both boys and girls soccer. Volleyball, same thing. We've got, they're going to play, as we talked last week with Kendra, 5 matches at home this week alone. So senior night, Harvey tonight on Tuesday, and then home matches Thursday, and as we host our Perry Invitational on Saturday, 3 more matches here. So busy week here with a lot of our fall sports teams.
Yeah, and volleyball's been waiting to get home for a while now, and as you mentioned, 5 in a row is a nice one to accomplish. So if you're out here, it's easy to bounce right from the gym out to the soccer field, back into the gym if you need to, and support all the programs. It's going to be some double headers and teams playing at the same time or on the same days coming up here in the next week or two.
Yeah, and then boys golf, unfortunately, some not great news on the boys golf front. They missed out by qualifying for the district meet by 1 stroke. So, they're right on the cusp. That was their goal from the beginning of the season, was their team goal to get there to districts, and it just didn't work out yesterday for us. It was so agonizingly close. The weather, again, not use any excuses. The weather, everybody played in the sort of the rain mist all day long out at Quill Hollow, and we just came up short. But shout out to them. We've not qualified in my time here in 14 years as the athletic director as a district team for boys golf, and they were that close to doing it. So hats off to our seniors, our leaders there, our Alex, Carson, Josh, and the whole crew. We'll have 3 of them back for next year. We'll look to make some noise again in boys golf. And girls golf missed out as well. Jill Peters finished 14th as our highest golfer out at Punderson yesterday. So hard to go back-to-back district qualifiers. Our girls golf did it for the first time in school history last year. So hats off to them. Both of their seasons have concluded. And they'll start, it won't be long, when the weather starts getting crappy, they'll go back up in the simulator and start getting some rounds in up there.
Well, as Coach Daniels told us last week, you have 4 juniors and 4 freshmen. So now the experience that they were able to gain this year now only sets the team up for success next year.
Not having any seniors is sometimes it's a good thing, and when your season's over, it's really a good thing because now you've got everybody coming back for next year. And I know boys and girls cross country continue to improve each and every week, so that's the exciting thing for them. They keep seeing these times go down, which is what you want to see. Those numbers sort of crawling down each and every week by 20, 30 seconds, 40 seconds here or there. And then, before we know it, they're going to be running at CVC Invitational on Friday, October 11th. That's our fall break day out at Cardinal, and then they're right into districts the following week over at Madison. So, I mean, it's crazy. Here we are. It's the end of September, and we're wrapping stuff up a little bit.
Yeah, fall gets close to the end, and then winter sports are right around the corner.
Yep. And we'll now have our segment here, our middle school minute, if you will. Come on up. Our middle school AD is Mindy Allen. So literally, we'll give you more than a minute, Mindy, I promise. But I'm going to call it the middle school minute with Mindy Allen. And just welcome. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for all that you do for our not only our middle school athletes, but for those, everybody knows Mindy and all that she does. She coaches. Oh, let's see. Can I name them all? I'm going to miss one.
This is going to be your minute here. Your time's up.
Yeah,
Yep,
right.
that's it.
Middle school football head coach, JV girls basketball, JV girls softball, flag football, middle school AD, high school assistant AD. Is there anything you cannot do?
Well, I don't know.
Right.
Seems like everybody just keeps giving me more and more to do.
Yeah,
so.
everybody keeps piling on. Mindy, do this. You're so good at what you do, though, and our kids certainly enjoy you. Just even walking the halls with you, you're sort of a celebrity. Everybody says hi to you. You say hi to them. Whatever. It's great for our community, and it's appreciated. She feeds the officials after games. She feeds teams. Food has always been so when I first met Mindy, food was a theme. Like, we're feeding this football team. When you had boys in the program, like, we're doing team dinners. We're doing food, and it's sort of been a staple of what you've brought to the table. So thanks for all that you do, first of all. And let's delve right into the middle school side of things. And, we'll sort of turn over to you. How are athletics going at the middle school this fall? What are some updates that you have? And then we can talk to some more specifics as we go as well.
I think we're doing really well. I tell everybody, our success really is because I really believe that we have probably the best coaching staff in all of Northeast Ohio in the middle school, if not the whole state. I really believe all of our coaches have a passion for the sport that they're helping us with. They have a great knowledge. They're willing to learn. They're coachable themselves to learn more about. My big thing is that, we can't coach kids the way we were coached. This is a totally different generation, and we had the professional development this fall, and I haven't told you this, but I had numerous coaches come up to me afterwards and say, oh my gosh, you know what? I tried some of that, and it works.
Right.
To me, that just shows the willingness of our coaches to be able to adjust and that they're coachable. And I think it translates into success on the field when they're able to connect, to share that passion. When we've got volleyball teams that are doing really well. I mean, everybody knows I was coaching volleyball
Right.
for 3 weeks.
I knew I would miss one. I knew I would miss one.
And because we had a coach lined up and some
Yeah.
things happened in
Yeah.
their family life, and
Yeah.
and so we had to kind of roll with it. So I was there coaching, and so we are blessed to have Ashley Carilla in the district coaching with us now, and she stepped up and took a job that she's never had before in coaching volleyball, and she's doing a great job.
Yep.
But yeah, we've got girls soccer undefeated, 7th grade football undefeated, 8th grade football with 1 loss. Our middle school volleyball programs are going to be going into a tournament here next week, seated pretty high. Cross country, we've only got 8 runners, but boy, they run great. We hosted our 2nd annual middle school invitational, and all 4 of our boys finished in the top 25. And that's really good
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think we had 13 or 14 schools total running
Yeah.
in that race. So that's
If we
really
would've had
impressive.
one more boy, we could have probably
Right.
finished second or even
Yeah,
third
we would
out
have
of
done
all of
really
those
well.
teams with only 5
And then the
kids.
girls, all 4 of our girls finished in the top 50 in their race. I checked theirs today. And then even in our tri-meet last week, I mean, they run hard. It's
Yeah.
been great. So,
And now for you to, obviously being an athlete yourself as you were younger and now giving back to the Perry community.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you? I mean, obviously
Oh.
you just bounce from field to field or court
Yes.
to court. How do you, one, keep it all straight, but 2, just to see the development from, when your kids went through all the way to graduation, and now you're seeing the kids at the middle school now get their shot at varsity level.
So I joke a lot with my family and especially with my mom because I wasn't allowed to play sports until my sophomore year of high school. And I went into volleyball, basketball, and softball. I was all in. I grew up on a farm. That's where all my work was. I translated it to the basketball court, to the volleyball court, the softball field. And I loved it. And then I got into athletic training with our trainer at our school. She was a high schooler and had learned stuff from OSU. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And those things didn't work out. And I was like, okay. So I tell everybody I got to be the stay-at-home mom, and I homeschooled my kids.
Yeah.
So like that piece, I really feel, and I majored in education. I only did 2 years because I'm like, I'm getting married and having kids. But so I was involved in everything. So now I feel like I'm living out my second best life. I got to be a mom, involved in everything, and now I get to do what I always wanted from the time I was a teenager. So I love it. And I think that passion is how I'm able to have the energy
Yeah.
to go from this morning being here at the school just after 7, and I'll get home, tonight probably around 7:30.
Yeah, right.
Some days it's longer.
We had Candy Tanish on in one of the weeks of the boys soccer coach, and obviously you being a female,
Yeah.
how has that transition been to coaching a boys football team? And again, it's not
Yeah.
to, I know
Oh,
how the
no.
question sounds,
No,
and I don't
no,
want it to
trust me.
sound that way.
No, so like years ago, when my boys were in basketball, there was a dad who told the rec director, you got to get Mindy Allen out here coaching. And because they didn't have a coach for a team, just give her the team. She played in college, she'll be fine. And they gave it to me. I was like, wow, I never thought I'd be coaching my boys. Then I'm at youth football, and my boys are young, and Matt Sullivan, Mark Schiano came in to the Red Bucks. Their kids weren't even playing yet. And the year before that, my son, my 25-year-old, was put at center, didn't know what to do. And nobody was coaching him. So since I was homeschooling, I took him to my brother. We drove down home in the middle of the week when we had a day off. I said, teach me how to teach him. So my brother, and I'd always been around football from the time I was in 3rd and 4th grade, but he taught me. And so then every day I was taking the centers and quarterbacks and working with them, making sure that the snaps were good, the quarterbacks were getting up in there good. And then Mark and Matt came in, and then I was working with wide receivers and then corners. And then Coach Rosati put me at the middle school when Jordan got to middle school. And I've been there ever since Jordan was in 8th grade at the middle school, helping, coaching, helping out in some capacity. And it has been difficult, and there's been times that it's like, okay, do I want to keep doing this because of the attacks from men?
Yep.
Just to be honest, from dads, because I'm a woman. I didn't play. I played on the playground in 4th and 5th and 6th grade with the football coach and all the football boys. Recess in 7th and 8th grade. My dad wouldn't let me play football. So at lunch, I played football on the football field with the football team and the players. In college, I played on the courts with the college basketball teams, the boys. I was the only girl out playing with the boys. That's just, so like to me, it's not a big deal.
Right.
I know it is to other people, but I see them for their young kids. My job, I feel I bring something that maybe a guy wouldn't bring.
Yeah.
That mothering instinct where I see things a little bit differently, not just the X and O's. The X's and O's are important, but there's a child there that I have the opportunity to help develop as a person too.
Well, and I think you're seeing the change, from top to bottom. I mean, whether it's middle school football, high school, all the way to college, NFL, that we have female coaches in
Yeah.
the NFL. And, the Cleveland Browns have been great
Yes.
with the girls flag football and expanding that. I know you have a big role in that. So talk to us a little bit about what flag football and what the Browns have done and what they are trying to do with the
Yeah.
sport, because it is now a lot of colleges are going to start to give scholarships
They
out
already
for
are.
girls flag football. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So Callie Bronson was the first
Yeah.
one when we first started. I'm going into my 5th year helping with the high school flag football. Callie Bronson's now the assistant wide receiver coach. And I will never forget the first time meeting her.
Yeah.
And I went up to her at Minter and I told her, I said, you are an example to all these young girls
Sure.
that there is nothing that they can do.
Yeah.
They can do anything they want to do. And then you've got Hannah Lee at the Browns right now who's running all the youth stuff. And she is there, fighting for opportunities for our young girls, And that's huge to see young women in these roles, opening doors, really pushing, because high school flag football, it's huge here, and it's huge here in Northeast Ohio because of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And they're really pushing, trying to get it into the Columbus area, into Cincinnati. I think this past spring, the Bengals first started. They only had a few teams. So we're really trying to grow. They've had some stuff down at, I think the OSU campus recently or coming up next week. They've got a girls' jamboree going on at the Browns training facility in the evening. And they're trying to do so much. We're hoping that the NEO Flag League is going to pick up and run with that and open up a middle school girls league this spring, which I'm excited about, because I was telling TJ I was planning on this spring, just like I need more, but taking our high school flag girls team and inviting the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls to some of our practices in March, teaching them some fundamentals, and then having the high school girls coach a 5th grade team, a 6th grade, 7th, and 8th grade, and then put on one day of flag games here just in Perry, just to get the girls introduced to the sport, get them excited about it, show them that, hey, this is a fun sport that you can do. And we do. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had the great season last year. You guys played down at Brown Stadium
Yes.
for one of those games. But that's been the nice part of it is, girls want to play football. And you do see some pop up here and there
Right.
on high school teams,
Yep.
but this is more their avenue. Like, hey,
Yes.
we can do it. We can go out. We can play and now get scholarships and
Right.
continue on and do what we love.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to push the OHSAA. I know the Browns and the Bengals will continue to push them to make it an OHSAA sport, and that'll just solidify it even more. But, once colleges start offering scholarships, I mean, colleges aren't going to just do that just for the heck of it.
Right.
They know that it's a thing that's going to stick around and be here for the long term. So we're excited about that. Mindy, we just thank you, I guess, for all that you do. And, our philosophy has been from the athletic department that, it starts down with youth. And, we certainly appreciate all of our youth coaches across all sports. Volleyball, I know our rec program does a great job with volleyball and basketball, and we have travel basketball, youth football, baseball, so all of them.
Yeah.
You have to have a base, but then really develop them, get them developed more at that middle school level, and then all developmental, 7th, 8th grade freshmen, JV, all developmental, but then by the time they get to us at the high school,
Right.
they're ready to go.
Right.
And that's what's so huge about having a great, a strong middle school program. So I'm so proud of what we've been able to do at the high school level, but it's because of the middle school level and the youth level that we've been able to enjoy that success. And I know our coaches are appreciative of it as well. And we thank you for all that you've done.
Yeah,
we'll
and it's because we're bridging that gap. We're
Yeah.
connecting our high school to our middle school,
Yeah.
and our middle school coaches are on board
Yeah.
with doing and following the playbooks, the language, everything that the high school. So I'm proud
So-
to be a part of it.
Well, we're going to have you on the show every week now. You're going to have your middle school minute, which turned into about 12 minutes, but that's all right.
First week.
That's all right,
Yes.
first week. Mindy Allen, thanks for joining us on the
Thank
show. Thanks for all
you.
that you
Thank
do.
you.
Gene, that'll wrap us up here for week 6 on Walk the Plank. Again, just an exciting time of year as we're starting to wrap up some sports and see what the postseason journey will be for others.
Yeah, that's the nice part. Now that you get to the playoff pushes and teams know what they have to do and make this, you need this win, you need this key win this week to put us in a good position. It's going to be very competitive for all of the fall sports over the next 2-3 weeks.
Yep. All right. Thanks for joining us on the podcast. What do we say, Gene? How do we show our podcast? Tell
Well,
everybody
we
how to
found
get
out
'em?
this last week
Yeah.
on Amazon, you could ask your Alexa to play Walk the Plank podcast or maybe even pod, and there you go. It'll play the latest edition for you. So we're getting closer to getting Siri to do it. Apple is still defeating me, but I'm bound to defeat them here at some point. But Spotify has it, Amazon Music. You can go both places there to get Walk the Plank, and I know you'll tweet out the video version later this week.
Yeah, we're going to tweet it out. We're going to send an email out too. I think we're to the point now where we're polished enough on the show. We can probably share it with the district via email and say, hey, check this out. If you're bored for an hour and you're working out, listen to Walk the Plank. There's worse things to listen to for sure.
I
So-
did it last week on my way to Eastern Michigan. Popped it on
Yeah,
for a
there
little
you go.
bit, and away we went.
It was cool last week. I said to Alexa, put on Walk the Plank, and boom, it was up
Yep.
and running. So it was pretty awesome. But we appreciate you joining us on Walk the Plank. Thanks to Gene and my co-host, as always, for everything. Go Pirates.